Did you hear what Shelby did? Oh my goodness sakes. Well, this was part of a story that Jethro Creech heard from Blanche and Hilda Beanwig. Jethro Creech works at the Possum Trot gas station. He helps Mr. Fenderding, and he, does, they do it the old-fashioned way, washing the windows, putting gas in the tank for people. People don't do that so much in the big cities now in these modern days anymore. But anyway, while Jethro Creech was putting gas in Mr. Pennyworth's pickup truck that the Beanwig sisters drive more than Mr. Pennyworth does, Jethro Creech got tangled up in some gossip. And the ladies were telling him, did you hear what Shelby did? And they went on, and Jethro Creech said, I didn't know that about Shelby. And he goes, oh, that's awful. Oh, no. Really? Really, did Shelby do that? And they say, yeah. And he said, oh, I can't believe it. Oh, and Jethro just almost started to cry. He just couldn't believe that about Shelby, that she would be a girl like that. And so then when the gas tank was full and the ladies paid him, and then they just put the truck back in Mr. Pennyworth's garage again, and they walked home. But this left Jethro Creech just devastated. He was a nice young man in his early 20s and tall and looked kind of nice, handsome young man. But he was devastated. So then he told Mr. Fenderding about Shelby, and Mr. Fenderding said, oh, I can't believe that about Shelby, that she would do something like that. That's awful. So then Jethro Creech went on, and the more people were coming in the station, and he was, they were very polite at the station. They'd say, well, get me something out of that Coke machine over there, would you? And he would go get him a Coke or something. So Jethro was just a real nice guy. Everybody knew him. But everybody that came in, he started telling them about Shelby, and they just couldn't believe it. And then the awful thing is that it came to find out that it wasn't even true. Shelby wasn't even in town that month. Shelby was off somewhere else visiting somebody. And oh, did Jethro ever feel bad thinking all those things about Shelby? And even worse, he was telling other people about Shelby and what she had done. And he was so upset. He couldn't sleep at night, and he was crying. And he wondered, oh, what am I going to do? I want to take this back. Oh, what can I do? And then he decided, you know what? I'm going to go over and I'm going to see Granny Dordenhofer. Granny's a very wise Christian woman, and she'll help me and tell me, what can I do to correct this thing? What can I do? Well, Granny Dordenhofer said, well, Jethro, if you want to make things right, I want you to go out to my hen house out in back into the chicken coop and take this big bag with you. And he took it was like a big burlap bag. She said, I want you to fill that up full of feathers. Chicken feathers. Get the chicken feathers out of the nests and off the floors and out into the yard. Fill it full of chicken feathers. Well, Jethro Creech thought, what on earth are you telling me? She said, just do what I say. Jethro, being an obedient young man, thought, I don't understand, but he did that. And so he got a bag full of feathers, and then he even found more feathers, so he started stuffing them in his back pockets and in his shirt pockets and front pockets and everything. And he had feathers all over the place. And he said, here, Granny, here's a bag full of feathers. Now what do you want? And she said, I want you to go to every single house between Possum Trot and Muscatropolis. And I want you to put one feather on the front porch of each and every house. And Jethro thought, what? Granny said, just do it. Put feathers on everybody's front porch that you come in contact with or you can find. Put a feather on the front porch. And Jethro said, is this my punishment? Granny said, just do it, Jethro. So Jethro did. After work that night, he went out and he dragging his burlap bag, and he had his pockets full of feathers and his pen pockets and everything. And he started laying a feather down on the doormats and on the wooden porches and the cement porches of all the houses. And he was up all night doing that. And so it comes the crack of dawn, and he's just finishing up, but he's just couldn't handle it anymore. But he got, I don't know, hundreds of feathers, one on each porch of everybody's house. So he was exhausted, and he came back to Granny Dordenhofer, and he said, okay, Granny, I did what you said. Am I done? What, is this my punishment or what? She says, no, we're not done yet, Jethro. Now, I want you to go back tonight and pick up every feather that you dropped on somebody's front porch. Pick up every feather again. And he said, Granny, I can't do that. It's breezy, it's windy out here. They've all blown away by now. I can't pick up every feather that I've dropped. That's impossible. And she said, so it is with gossip, Jethro. We can say words and they start floating around, but we can't get them back again, even if they're not true. And it's especially bad if it's not true. When we spread those kinds of feathers around, we can't get them back again. She said, see what damage that gossip can do to somebody? And Jethro got the point. He really got the point. He said, oh, Granny, I've learned my lesson. And she says, now all I want you to do is go and ask God's forgiveness. God will forgive you for this. And hopefully, if you ever see Shelby, if she hears anything about this, hopefully she'll forgive you also. And Jethro said, oh, that was a tough lesson to learn. I just know I'm not going to spread any more undocumented bad gossip about people anymore. It's awful. And Granny Dordenhofer said, you bet it is, Jethro, and you're going to pay for it too. And Jethro said, I'll ask the Lord to forgive me and start over. And she said, that's a good idea. The Lord can wipe your slate clean, but sometimes there's ramifications that we have made for ourselves that we have to clear up. But God will forgive you totally. And so that made Jethro feel better. But it was a hard lesson for Jethro to learn. So words are easily dropped and they're easily passed on. But it's so hard to get them back again. So we have to be careful with what we're telling other people, whether it's a truth or a lie or whatever. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O God, my strength and my Redeemer. And that's what King David said. And it's a good thing to remember, too. Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye.